What's up, y'all? This is Mongo. So this is a CNBC article. Do you smell what Bezos is cooking? Amazon could buy the WWE. Analyst predicts. This is from February 7th, 2020. The writer is Jesse Pound. We're going to go through this. I'm going to give my thoughts. This everybody's trying to buy WWE stuff. It's kind of insane. We all know Vince McMahon will never sell it, but let's just humor this for entertainment purposes. Key points. World Wrestling Entertainment streaming rights could be attractive to companies like Amazon that are looking for video content. Vince McMahon, the WWE CEO, said on an earnings call earlier this week that there was interest in the rights to wrestling programming from major streaming companies. We believe that such a licensing deal would put Amazon in the best spot to purchase all of WWE. Needham analyst Laura Martin wrote, WWE stock is down more than 40% so far this year. Amazon could potentially tag team with the world's biggest wrestling brand to gain an advantage in the streaming wars, according to Needham. Not only could the Jeff Bezos-led tech retail juggernaut buy the streaming rights to WWE content, but it could also potentially buy the whole company one day, Needham analyst Laura Martin said. We believe that such a licensing deal would put Amazon in the best spot to purchase all of WWE whenever the family is ready to exit, Martin said. This man is currently 74 years old, going on 50. WWE's over-the-top streaming platform will be attractive to Amazon or other streaming services because it brings in a loyal fan base, unlike new shows the company are developing. WWE's live programming is highly differentiated, and its Raw, SmackDown, and NXT brands are worth more than being any one of the 500 series that have no built-in audience or brand, Martin said. McMahon, WWE CEO, said on the earnings call earlier this week that there was interest in the rights to wrestling programming from major streaming companies. WWE currently has its own streaming service, which includes all of its pay-per-view events and other content. Martin, who has a buy rating on the WWE stock, said one scenario for WWE is Amazon to buy the licensing and streaming for the wrestling company. Such a deal could also position Amazon to eventually purchase the whole wrestling company in-house. If Amazon were to throw its hat in the ring for live wrestling rights, it wouldn't be turning heel. The tech giant has already dabbed in live sports before, streaming some Thursday night NFL games in recent years. WWE may be a more attractive acquisition target now than it was several months ago. The wrestling company stock has plummeted more than 30% so far this year, bringing its market cap under $4 billion. Amazon did not immediately respond to a request for comment, because what the hell is Amazon going to say? Big companies do not talk about stuff like this usually, unless it's actually going to happen. So let's talk about this. We've heard through the interwebs of the IWC that Disney should buy the WWE. Now we're talking about Amazon buying WWE. I do believe that if they want to sell off the parts of the network, let's say the pay-per-view rights, the Amazon would be in contention for that. That would be a legitimate concern or issue for fan bases. Because I probably didn't say it because I don't think that episode did not make air. But I would not support. Well, yes, it did. I would not support a WWE separating their pay-per-view from their network. I would not support that. I'll probably find some way to watch it, but I would not give Amazon money, or NBC, who has their own network. It's called Peacock, the streaming app for NBC, which is actually a closer relationship to WWE than Amazon. So the Amazon will probably have to shell out a lot of money for WWE to skip over NBC, which is a long-term partnership that goes back to like the 80s. So in order for WWE to sort of do business with Amazon, it would be big. They would make a lot of money. Vince McMahon would make a lot of money, but maybe they can get some. I could see them maybe trying it, but buying the whole company, probably not. Not while Vince McMahon is alive and breathing. That's just not going to happen. Maybe the moment, the 5 or 6 years after Vince McMahon dies, then maybe they'll sell it to Amazon or Disney or somebody like that, and they'll fold it into ESPN, or they'll fold it into the Amazon rights or whatever, but not while this man is alive. A lot of people are thinking that this is just being said to boost the stock price. Look, if you run a big corporation that makes a lot of money, that is in like that it is unique, like the WWE, because WWE is very unique, and wrestling fans don't really get that. They don't understand how this works, but it's a very unique organization in that it produces live entertainment 3 times a week, sometimes 4 times, sometimes 5 times a week, sometimes 6 times a week, regularly, 52 weeks a year. This is the thing, like when people talk about TV ratings, you're really undervaluing the concept of live entertainment every single week. That is unheard of. No TV show is live every week. No movie is live. No plays are live every week. The only thing that is live every week is sports, which is, well, that is regularly live, is sports, which is UFC, boxing, football, basketball, and wrestling. That's it. You know, even you have other sports that are actually live, you know, NASCAR and stuff like that. I think NASCAR might actually be bigger than wrestling. But it sometimes it happens so rarely that something worth watching is even on that it doesn't matter, right? So like, UFC is big, but UFC is not going to put its big fights on TV live. You know, they used to do something similar to that, but they don't do that anymore. Boxing fights they don't put the big boxing fights live on TV anymore. And then when they do, they are extremely rare as far as, you know, you have one big fight a year and you'll make all your money then, and then you have to justify having boxing on the show by having smaller fights that appeal to a niche audience. Like Mayweather is not going to fight in a live Showtime fight. That's just not going to happen. You know, Pacquiao might, but it might be once a year. You know, who knows? But you get, you know, a significantly less drawing star like a Roman Reigns. You get him every week. You know, that's something completely different. If you can count on Brock showing up 4 times a year, let's say, that's still a lot better than you getting Conor McGregor 0 times a year, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Because if he only fights twice in a year, both of those times are going to be in pay-per-view main events. They're not going to be on regular ESPN shows. So you're really undervaluing, the wrestling fans are really undervaluing the concept of live sports entertainment, or live sports or live entertainment, period. So this could be important, and this would make Amazon and WWE super huge. But I don't think it'll happen, because I think Vince McMahon wants to be in control of the company. And I think that if somebody else were to buy it, it would change almost dramatically. You know, now would they probably keep the McMahons running the company? Probably, but I don't think Vince McMahon would want to run the company and not own it. Like, I don't think that would make much sense. And since this is his entire life, he doesn't have anything else, well, other than the XFL, which hasn't started yet. I don't really see it as being a big deal. I don't really think this will happen, but it's an interesting thing to talk about. And wrestling fans really should pay attention to this stuff, because if Amazon really wants to get into the live entertainment field, and let me back up for a moment. This is why AEW got the television rights deal. Not because Turner and everybody is super happy with everything that is going on, but they have a consistent live sports program on every week. You know, with people who have name value, like a Chris Jericho or a Kenny Omega or a Cody. These guys don't have to be super big stars. They just have to be in the right places at the right time in order to make this thing interesting. And Ring of Honor could do the same thing if they wanted to. They just don't want to probably pay the money for Ring of Honor to be live. And it's the same thing with Impact. I've seen people from I've seen Ring of Honor wrestlers say that they want to go to the live show, because Ring of Honor TV is some of the most useless shit in the world. Like, who the hell watches Ring of Honor TV? Even if you like Ring of Honor, why the fuck are you watching Ring of Honor TV? Okay, just watch the pay-per-views, because there's nothing happening on Ring of Honor TV. It's been that way for over a decade. Okay, Impact should do something similar. Impact is owned by a television network. Why doesn't Impact run live? You know, there is substantial amount of quality in being live every single week and then building an audience based off that live product. But Amazon could also, if they just wanted to, they could just start their own wrestling company if they wanted to. It'd be substantially smaller than WWE, but there's enough guys out there, or they could buy MLW or, help with the NWA or something like that. There's always a bunch of companies that Amazon, if they wanted to get into the wrestling business, it makes sense to start at the top. It makes sense to start and say, well, let's try to buy WWE and let's see if the McMahons are interested. And if that doesn't work out, which it likely wouldn't, the next best would be AEW, but they're owned by Turner or, the Khans, and they're so new and kind of untested that they haven't been around for a year yet. You probably wouldn't want to buy that. So then after that, you would probably be looking at Impact, which is owned by TV Network, and Ring of Honor, which is owned by TV Network. So after that, it would be maybe MLW or in the NWA or something like that, or maybe trying to shoot some life, because Lucha Underground was also run by TV Network and they got cut off. But who knows? If Amazon really wanted to get into wrestling, they have a ton of options. There's also New Japan. If they really wanted to get into the live sport, does New Japan run shows often enough to satisfy Amazon? Probably not. But they have a loyal and niche fan base in the United States, and they could increase that value. The value of, and they also have New Japan World. They probably wouldn't want to, but you also have the other Japanese promotions. You have British promotions. You have the Mexican promotions, CMLL or AAA. If Amazon wanted to get into the pro wrestling game, they have 100 options. The WWE would be their best option because it has, like this thing said, it has built-in fan base. Other promotions, it's pro wrestling, yeah, and you can bring it to more people through the Amazon network, but it doesn't have the same sizable audience as the WWE. So this is an interesting scenario. I don't think it'll happen, obviously. I think that if WWE does sell off individual pay-per-views, it would be probably the Big Four, and it'll probably go to NBC, who is a longtime partner, and I doubt at all in any capacity that Vince McMahon would be interested in selling the whole company. The stock drop that's a lot of money. They lost to maybe they said $1 billion in market cap, but looking at the stock price, it's down to 40 something, and it was at 70 or 80 or something like that. So they lost a lot of money. Maybe not at 80. Maybe it might have been at about 60 or 70. But anyway, in any event, they lost a lot of goddamn money. But over time, they lost that money because they made a rapid change at the top, which of course injected volatility into the market and drove the price down. Can they make it back? It'll probably take a long time for them to make that money back, but I believe they can make that money back. But that's neither here nor there. This is an interesting thought experiment. Don't think it'll happen, but it's interesting and worth talking about. So I did. And what do you guys think? Would you guys support an Amazon-owned WWE product? What would that even look like? Would Jeff Bezos be interested in taking rock bottoms and stunners? Probably not. Which means it'll be substantially less fun.